Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 Career Mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we are racing from Michigan Speedway as we look to conquer the 2-mile oval and hope to continue recent success that we've been having now as well. We will be doing some Xfinity Series racing this weekend from Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're doing double duty, but you see the playoff grid coming into this episode. Of course, 2 winners outside the top 30 in the standings. Todd Gilliland as well as Chase Briscoe will be highlighting on them from here on out. Now, as we focus into this Michigan weekend, we had a big announcement, a bit of a shocking announcement about Austin Cindric. So Austin Cindric will be departing Penske Racing. He will be out of a ride in the Cup Series next season as Todd Gilliland gets the call up from Front Row Motorsports, and he will be at Penske Racing behind the wheel of the number 2 next season. As well, news coming into this weekend, Kroger is leaving the JTG team going into the next season, so there is certainly some questions about the future of that team and what they're going to look like going into next season. Will Corey Heim still be behind the wheel? But of course, the big news, Austin Cindric, big connections within Penske Racing. His own father, of course, a big part of that team, Tim Cindric. But his poor results here this whole career mode, he's been able to get a win or two just at the road courses. And unfortunately, though, his continued struggles have not put him into a position to where he gets to keep a ride going forward. So it'll be exciting to see what Todd Gilliland is going to be able to do going forward. But nonetheless, practice, I was relatively happy with the car. Michigan, it has its ups and downs for me now, and hopefully today's going to be one of the positives here now, as it was time for some qualifying in this Top Golf Toyota Camry here now. So we'll see what we can do with a goal of a 39.412 now as we get our qualifying lap underway. Of course, Hendrick Motorsports last episode, they looked very far off as they, of course, got hit with the penalties and they had the illegal parts that they were bringing to the track confiscated, and we saw a big drop in performance. I expect to see the same thing here today as well. But nonetheless, going down this back straightaway into turn 3, we'll see momentarily where they all line up, and as well ourselves here, hoping for really just a top 20 start, and I'll be pretty happy here at this 2-mile D-shaped oval as we exit turn 4, head down this front straightaway through the restart zone and to the line. What's it going to be? We beat the goal with a 39.051, and we'll start P17 here from the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway. Pretty happy with that lap now. As you can see, Chastain pole position over Eric Jones. Great drive from him there to go P2. Chris Buescher, Reddick, Austin Dillon top 5, and then you got Hamlin, Larson, and Bubba Wallace rounding out the rest of the top 10. So Larson being the best Hendrick car, but 2 Hendrick cars 29th and 30th with Elliott as well as William Byron. But before we focus in on Cup racing, we had some Xfinity Series action here, and we head over to Georgia and get ready for some Atlanta Motor Speedway behind the wheel of this Top Golf 19 Joe Gibbs Toyota Camry once again here. Now we qualified 14th place, so a little bit of work to do to move our way through the field. We have one Xfinity win under our part-time, of course, schedule belt this season. That came at the road course in Mid-Ohio. That was quite early in the season, but immediately here getting the elbows out on this first lap, going around the outside of the number 2 RCR Chevrolet of Parker Retzlaff, and we just continue to go forward right off the bat here. The car felt pretty good, pretty quick, and it was hooking up to the track really well, and you can see going 3 wide here with the 21 Chase Purdy, the 2 of Retzlaff again, who had been fighting his way back. But by the time we come through to end this stage, or the first stage, we are going to pass Carson Kvapil for the 7th spot right at the line. So P7 in stage 1, I was pretty happy with that effort, and we would continue marching our way through the field here. We took our Joe Gibbs Racing teammate Sheldon Creed 3 wide, got past Connor Zilish as well in the Trankhouse 99, starting to see some increasing performance out of Connor Zilish, of course, who's been learning the ovals, and he's been getting better. And it wasn't long until we passed Jesse Love, as well as passing the 3 of Ty Dillon, for the lead, and we wouldn't look back. We would win stage 2 and continue to drive away throughout the rest of the race in stage 3, and basically just focus in on bringing it home at this point. Dominant, basically final part of stage 2 and final stage through 3 and 4 for the second time this season. We're going to come through to win an Xfinity Series race. So 2 Xfinity wins, 2 Cup wins, 4 wins overall on this season across the top 3 series as we get to burn it down. Yeah, I mean, pretty happy with that effort. At the end of the day, it is just an Xfinity Series win, so not a big deal. You see the finishing order on your screen, but, you know, Connor Zelish, like I said, continuing to see some improvements out of him in that 99. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., not a great day, and as well, Justin Allgaier, an okay day, but William Sawalich, 5 wins on the season, doesn't pick it up, obviously, today, but still doing okay going into the playoff push for the series. Now, let's get ready to go Cup racing.
We're coming to you live from Michigan International Speedway. Drivers are set to take on this 2-mile D-shaped oval in the final bit of calmness before the Busch Light Bracket Tournament starts next week, as well as the push to the playoffs.
Everyone is going to be racing so hard here, Rick, going into these next 6 races after today. So much on the line, from money to a playoff berth. It is going to be wild.
All right, team. Let's keep that momentum up from last week and have a good one today.
Absolutely, mate. Let's work our way forwards here.
We're ready to roll here from this Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway, a track that was once dominated by Kyle Larson back in his Chip Ganassi days. Of course, haven't quite seen that success in recent history. Todd Gilliland, not nearly as fast as expected, fresh off the news that he will be headed, of course, to Penske Racing next season. Very excited to actually watch that kind of come to fruition here. It almost did not happen in our planning for season 4, but it just finally managed to work out here. Now, as we're ready to go, Green Flag Racing behind the Darlington Raceway winner from real life this past weekend, Brad Keselowski there just in front of us. We start P17, and we have 15 laps of racing here in stage number 1. And things get a little bit interesting. If this goes green from the start to the end of the stage, well, guess what? A fuel cell in this car is only going to get us about 15 laps. So it's going to be a close one to pay attention to. 3 wide on the exit of turn 2. We go down this back straightaway, trying to make up, of course, as much ground as we can on these restarts. Michigan is a really interesting track here in NASCAR Heat 5. You need to get what you can on the restarts, but don't be too aggressive and put yourself in an awkward spot where you're going to end up maybe on the apron or something in turn 3 or turn 1. It'll ruin your whole corner. On top of that, having the draft is everything at Michigan in NASCAR Heat 5. If you don't have the draft, you're going nowhere. So if we get disconnected, say we're maybe going to go for this pass right here on John Hunter Nemechek, if we cleared him but didn't have Bubba Wallace's draft, we're likely going to drop backwards and not be able to hang on. So it's all about drafting here in Michigan. So it's just crucial to have it at all times. Early on in this race, so Chris Buescher leading the way, and that number 17 Castrol Edge machine, of course, got a bit of a short end of a stick there in Darlington this past weekend after that battle with Tyler Reddick, but I'm expecting to see that 17 in victory lane sometime soon for sure. They have certainly figured something out at RFK in the recent weeks here. Now, as we are continuing the battle now with a lot of Toyota presence in the top 10, and then Brad Keselowski. We got the 20 of Bell, my teammate, on the outside. We got John Hunter Nemechek behind us. His teammate Eric Jones just ahead, currently P6. Jones qualified second, so clearly dropping back. Here comes now Ryan Blaney as well, 3 wide up the inside. Caught me a bit off guard there, so now dropping down to P10. But this group right here is all separated from about the top 5, so we're not really going to be able to run them down. We're just going to be stuck here with these guys. But now passing Jones as he's continuing to slip and slide backwards here down the order. He would also get passed by his teammate of John Hunter Nemechek in 42, so he just continues to go back as we run in the 9th position right now, and you can see just kind of settling in. There's not a whole lot we can do, just draft these cars in front and hope for the best. Ross Chastain now out in front here, still looking for that second win on the season. He's been close a few times to getting 2 wins, hasn't quite worked out for him. Now we're going to give a big shot to the back of our teammate of Bell into turn 1, shoot him up the inside of the 6 of Keselowski. Toyota's on the bottom, Ford Mustangs there on the outside now. now, former teammates Keselowski as well as Ryan Blaney. And Blaney, of course, going to have that new teammate next season with Gilliland. It'll be exciting to watch them work together now as we go down this back straightaway. Gilliland, of course, won the Daytona 500 this season, but he's just barely outside the top 30 in points. He's like 20-ish points out coming into this race. Chase Briscoe, of course, won in Pocono just a couple of episodes ago. He is about 10 or so points right now out of the top 30 as we look in a rear view mirror, and here comes that red Craftsman Toyota Camry. That's Ty Gibbs. He had a poor starting position, but clearly there's some speed in that number 54. He doesn't care about a draft. He has driven past everybody and has run us down, and immediately might be the favorite to win this race. And he won just last episode in a final lap, final corner, 3-wide move on myself and Bubba Wallace, who were side by side racing for the win. If that move never happened, I would have loved to have seen how that played out between myself and Bubba. I fought Bubba really hard right there because, of course, Denny Hamlin is my teammate, and Bubba winning would make it a little bit more difficult for Hamlin to get into the playoffs. Of course, with the situation right now on the bubble, Kyle Busch has been having a lot of terrible luck recently with mechanical failures, and hopefully he can turn things around here today in Michigan. Right now outside of the top 10. We continue actually going forward, though. We're going to clear this number 6 into turn number 1, so that Coors Light Dark Horse Ford Mustang drops back a spot into P8. We go up to P7. Ryan Blaney up next here in P6, and it's suddenly starting to look like it might go green the whole way in stage 1, which is not ideal because of the fuel situation being really awkward. So here we go now, up the inside of the 12, 3 laps to go. Couldn't quite clear the 12 as we came out of turn 2. He was able to stay on that outside and stay clear. I tucked back in behind that Menards yellow and blue Ford Mustang. So we just kind of settle in here for a moment now, and on the exit of turn 4, here's where it gets interesting. Our fuel light comes on right there, and that means we have basically 2 laps of fuel from that point on.
Okay, Gary, I need you to save me a bit of fuel here. Save, save, save.
So now the plan is we're going to tuck in behind Ryan Blaney, and are we going to see cars pit? Are we going to see cars try and stretch it? And we're about to find out. Here comes Ty Gibbs. I think we know what his objective is. He's going for it now, and nobody's going to come into the pit, so everybody's going to try and stretch it to the end of this final lap. It's just 1 lap around. Gibbs now passes Blaney. He moves into P6 on the move. Chastain leads the way overall on the exit of turn 2 down this back straightaway. Is anybody going to run out of fuel? That's the next question as we're about halfway through this lap. Now there goes the 12. He starts fumbling, and Gibbs as well. He's out of fuel as we pass him into turn 3. We know we're going to run out of fuel at some point, and now the leaders, they're all coming into the pits. They're going to pit instead of staying out. I'm going to stay out. I'm going to get the stage win. So we're going to cruise past everybody out of fuel. You can hear the car stuttering, but we make it to the line, and we win stage 1 in a just total mess of a stage ending with the awkward fuel situation with the mileage and then the lap count. So what in the world just happened? Chastain should get awarded P2, but here's the problem. So everyone comes into the pit lane. They were now able to do their pit stops, take their fuel, put their tires on. So this caution sequence will see them all basically be allowed to stay out. So we're actually going to lose a bunch of positions. Everybody that did the same thing that I just did is going to have to pit now, and that's what we are going to be doing here. So we're going to be coming in, putting 4 tires on it. I didn't make any adjustments, but you can see there's certain cars that tried staying out, and now we're down to 27th. That many cars in front of us came into the pits instead of actually staying on track, and they got their fuel, they got their tires. Our reward was we got a playoff point. Playoff points are ever so important for us to accumulate. Of course, we got 2 wins. We've now won, I think, 3 stages this season. So 3 playoff points there with the 2 wins. Of course, those are 10 playoff points combined, so 13 overall, and then depending on how many more stages or race wins we get, and then of course our regular season standing finish. But yeah, that's the penalty, is by getting that stage win and letting them all pit coming to the line. It was a really weird scenario. We go all the way back outside the top 20 to kick off this second stage, which is significantly longer in lap count than stage 1. Up the inside of that Meyer Shank 06 of Daniel Suarez. they've been putting together a bit more competitive runs recently in that 0-6, so certainly not writing off that team as a poor investment plan, of course, to come into the Cup Series yet. But we are already entered the top 20, passing Chase Purdy in his, I think, second or third consecutive race at this point for that Richard Childress Racing team. We continue on to the second lane to move our way now to the outside of that colleague driver, Alex Bowman, right to the back of Shane Van Gisbergen, and he's side by side with Rajah Caruth, who's making another start for the Andretti Global 98, that third car, of course, that we see here and there now. And I was struggling right here on the top now, as that outside's just not quite able to roll. I'm right on the back. Now we're 3 wide, actually, with the 16, and I go way high into turn 1, and we get up and out of the groove, and that absolutely ruins our pace. We have to back out of it to make sure we don't go into the outside wall. So we kind of got blocked here in P20 for a few moments now, but we run these guys again down through 3 and 4. Now they're 4 wide. Chandler Smith on the outside, smoke pouring out of the 16. Bowman, tire failure down the front straightaway. That's going to bring out a caution as I completely back out of it, trying to make sure I avoid any chaos there. Caution is out. Nobody is going to pit, because if we pit now, we still cannot make it to the end of stage 2 on field. Ross Chastain, Denny Hamlin 1-2, Kyle Busch in third, actually having a solid stage 2 so far in that Trackhouse 99 machine, as we will get ready to just rack them and stack them again and go green for this restart now and focus in on the pit stop that will be coming up here in a little bit of time, and then of course that run to the end of stage 2. The green flag, it's back out, and here we go from P19. Now you can see that red and yellow machine there a few rows in front. That's Joey Logano in the Pennzoil car. It's back. Yes, it's finally back. Thank you to Sanok, who whipped that up and sent me that a few days ago. Actually, I think he sent it like a week and a half ago at this point, but I think I mentioned it a couple episodes ago. I was sick, and then I got better, and I got sick again, so the consistency I know has been all over the place on both of my channels, but we're hoping to get things back rolling here now as we continue to follow Rajah Caruth here. 16 to go in stage 2, 3 wide with Logano and Eric Jones, who continues to just slowly drop down the order here as he drops to P16. He's now 3 wide on the outside. We'll clear him without any issue, as actually, look at the lead on the track map. 99, Kyle Busch to the lead here from Michigan, and it's already short-lived. His Trackhouse teammate of Ross Chastain just dethroned him just like that into turn number 3. So Chastain back to the point here now as we're into the now top 15, so we've been slowly rallying our way back forward. Kyle Busch actually back out in front now on lap 9 of stage 2. A run to the back of Nemechek and Bubba Wallace, 3 wide on the inside of that McDonald's 23 into turn 3. And now Corey Heim in the 47, they just of course found out that they will be losing that Kroger sponsorship going into next season, but actually couldn't complete the pass on this 47. Here comes Bubba Wallace splitting the middle. Look at the speed of that 23, clearly a strong car. Once again, here is actually was leaning a little bit on Nemechek as we both cleared the 47 down this backstretch. So into P11, Ty Gibbs now to the lead. The lead is shuffling around like crazy now to the back of Bubba. We'll follow him to the back of Josh Berry. Actually, Josh Berry in the 4 having a good run. We've been seeing some stronger performances out of the 4, the 14 as well, and Stuart Haas Racing, that 2-car team that, of course, is going through an interesting development. They will be going, of course, to Chevrolet going into next season. There is still some more manufacturer announcements on the way, as I keep mentioning. Stay tuned as we now have gotten up into P8, a solid rebound here from Michigan. Now into turn 1, lap 12 at this point. Caution is going to fly here on the Speedway, so we will continue to now head into the pit lane with everybody else, take 4 tires, fill it up on fuel, and this will allow us, of course, to get to the end of stage number 2. So we lose 3 spots, so 3 cars have remained on the racetrack, and it looks like one of them is Carson Hocevar. I have no idea who the other 2 cars are. We're about to find out probably the hard way. We're back racing, and it's going to be 9 laps to go in stage number 2. You got Buescher, Blaney there just in front of us now as we head down this run towards turn 1. Actually, Alex Bowman's one of them. He's leading the way, so it's Bowman, Hocevar, and I think the 3 of Austin Dillon here as we exit turn 2 to the back of Buescher and Denny Hamlin. Actually, they're 3 wide up here, so I'm just going to stay put behind this number 11 now. I don't want to force it 4 wide. I'm trying to not screw over my teammate of Hamlin in his final season, who desperately needs points right now while I don't, so I'm trying to make sure I don't put him in a bad spot. However, making sure I didn't put my teammate of Hamlin in a bad spot I lost positions too, and we dropped all the way to 19th place before we're finally making moves. We breezed past the 26 of Hocevar, and we'll get up into P16. Hamlin's going to start trying to move his way back forward as well. Ty Gibbs now out in front. There's Austin Dillon. That certainly confirms our theory that he was in fact one of the drivers that stayed out. So Hamlin would get past me, and now we're back down to P16. We've had this kind of back and forth effect here in this race. After winning stage 1, we went outside the top 20, we've got back into the top 10, then we went back down to P19. Now we're back to 13th, crashing in front. It's Kyle Busch in the 99, blows a tire, another mechanical issue. Blaney involved, big impacts there for the 99. He slides up across the nose of Hamlin and myself, and that, I think, is going to hurt us a lot on the next restart because of the contact with the AI. I think we're going to go backwards. No one's pitting. Kyle Busch's day is over again. How many mechanical failures and tire failures is he going to have? I think he's had 3 in just the last 3 or 4 races. It's been absolutely abysmal luck. That's all it is. Terrible luck for the 99 of Kyle Busch. And sure enough, speaking of bad luck, wrong place, wrong time, and now our car does not go on the restart. And unfortunately, SVG, Shane Van Gisbergen, planted right behind me, Rajat Karuth as well. So we finally we're quickly moving our way back forward. We were up to P13 for the restart. Now we're back to P21. So again, we are going to have to go for now the 3rd time already. We're way back forward here, and we only have a couple of laps to go, as it's been a caution-filled kind of, midway point of stage 2. So we'll go around the outside of Ryan Preece, and just as we clear him, we're going to slice to the inside of the 22 of Joey Logano. 1 win on the season for Joey Logano, but it's really not been that successful. It's not really been an impressive season for him in that 22. Final lap in stage 2. Around the outside of Chandler Smith, we would pass him, get to the inside of Shane Van Gisbergen down this backstretch. Maybe we can get him and Eric Jones before we get to the line. Ty Gibbs out in front. We talked about it in stage 1. He looked very fast. He proves it. The defending winner from last episode is also going to come through to win stage 2. We're side by side with Jones, 10th place, about to cross the line right there. It'll be P14 after winning stage 1 outside of stage points at all in stage 2, as we had to go from, basically 20th or worse 3 times in 1 stage. Now we'll come in, we'll get tires, we'll get feel, and it suddenly turned into a bit of a frustrating race, obviously. But hopefully stage 3 is going to be an opportunity for us to go forward and finally kind of get back to where we need to be. We gained 1 spot in the pits. Corey Hyman, the 47, a great stage 2 for him. P12, but he lost 2 spots in the pit lane there, down to P14 alongside myself. The green flag is back out here from Michigan. Now it's going to be 26 laps to go as we cross the stripe to start this 3rd and final stage in this Firekeepers Casino 400. Kyle Larson, he has been the best running Hendrick car all race long. Not really surprising now. Of course, he was really, unfortunately, his talent mixed with what Hendrick was trying was what allowed NASCAR to capitalize and catch them in the act. As you can see, Toyota's 1, 2, 3. It's Gibbs, Bubba Wallace up there, Tyler Reddick, his teammate as well. Reddick still winless on the season. He, however, is really just a matter of races away from locking himself in, really just on points. Keselowski, of course, trying to do the same thing. I don't think he's going to quite have that same luxury. And of course, his teammate Chris Buescher already locked in with a win early on in the season. Now 25 to go in this race. Josh Berry into the top 10 up the inside of Ryan Blaney. Gibbs continues to lead the way. Don't count out Ross Chastain. We know he's strong. Denny Hamlin has had a very strong day inside the top 10. I wash up into the side of the door of my teammate of Christopher Bell on the exit of turn 2 down this backstretch. We stay clear, thankfully, of that number 5 as the battle for 11th continues on into turn 3. We'll clear the 20 DeWalt Toyota Camry with ease now as Larson will get to the inside of him. And as we came through to the start of lap 47, we take it 3 wide to the inside of these 2 Fords into turn number 1. Berry in the middle, Blaney on the outside, and it's not going to be an easy pass. 3 wide is really difficult here when it comes to Michigan in the middle of the corners, and I just can't, of course, open up the wheel, can't get that throttle going. Blaney would actually pass us both around the top and get away as we would continue side by side with that number 4, Kyle Larson, just behind. He is just kind of lurking there in the back, but we finally clear the 4 Sunny D machine of Josh Berry. But hold on, here comes Larson. I wash up a little bit wide on the exit of turn 2, and what looked like earlier we could go up to 7th or 6th, it just doesn't seem to be happening now, and we've lost the draft from the 12 of Ryan Blaney. Larson going through on the inside. He'll get into the top 10, and here comes the 20 as well on the exit of turn 2. He's going to squeeze to the inside, and he would get me into turn 3. So we've dropped back down into the 12th position, but we're going to try and follow suit with the 20. He's going forward. He passes the 5 of Larson, lap 50 through 1 and 2, and I'm going to try and follow suit here. We'll get to the left rear quarter panel at least, and we can pull him backwards with a side draft if we need to, but we got some nice forward momentum. We got help from the 20. We lean on the door a little bit of that number 5. We'll clear him into turn 3, but now through 1 and 2, washing a little bit up the track again. Now on the exit of turn 2, having to lift sideways. We overcorrect into the outside wall. A little bit of damage done to the right side, a mistake all on my own, and here comes Larson again for the taking. We were driving away from him, and now we're going to be stuck with him because we are not going to be able to run down those cars in front by ourselves. So now we would settle in behind the 5 and basically just focus in on pushing him. So we're just going to push and push and push on these straightaways and hope that we can get closer to the pack just by pushing this 5. Now we know a tank of gas here will get us 15 laps or 14 and like 90%. So what I'm going to do here is we're going to make a bit of an audible, and we're going to pit with a little bit of an early incentive here, trying to do a bit of an undercut here, and we're going to come in with exactly 15 laps to go when we cross the line. So we're going to get ourselves a full tank of fuel, 4 tires, and see what happens. Obviously, this is a bit of a risky call, but we weren't going anywhere. We need to try something, and if a caution comes out, we're screwed. And it is what it is. We have 2 wins on the season. We've been running great recently, so I'm willing to take a risk like this every once in a while, and hopefully it works here. Now the AI, they love to do stupid things when you're exiting the pits. Both the 47 and the 97 decide they're going to drive themselves right into the wall, but we get back onto the racing surface, and Chastain, by the way, now out in front, not Ty Gibbs. So that number 1 car commands the field, but not for long, because Chastain, he's going to come into the pits 1 lap later, and he's going to be the lone wolf. Everybody out staying on the racetrack. So that's going to be interesting. Now as we are going to come to 14 to go, Ty Gibbs resumes leading this race, and I would imagine he and a lot of cars are going to be pitting likely at the end of this lap, and sure enough, Gibbs in, Bell and Nemechek stay out, but everybody else is pitting, so we're going to not unlap ourselves yet. The 20 and the 42, they have stayed out. That means we're still a lap down. Chastain's already headed out of the pits, and basically I only gained about 0.4 of a second overall by pitting a lap earlier, so it just really didn't gain us very much. Now we just need to hope that there's going to be no caution before well, there it is. The caution's out. Thank you, Corey Heim. Blows the tire. Our race just got screwed, and not only mine. Chastain is going to have to rely on the free pass, but because he was in front of me there and pitted a lap before most of the other cars, he gets a free pass. I don't. So we're going to be a lap down and have to get another caution. So we are probably going to finish 35th unless we get that caution within these final 10 laps here. So we're going to go back racing and, you know, hope for the best basically at this point now. But it's Kyle Larson out in front. I don't expect this to last. That Hendrick car and just the whole team in general right now is off after the whole cheating situation. I expect him to go backwards now. Corey LaJoie running down here in 33rd. We know the situation with him. Likely not going to be in that car come even playoff time, but who's going to be in that car going into the playoffs if that does come into fruition? It'll be interesting to pay attention in that failed experiment with Hendrick going for LaJoie and giving him a shot here. Now, we've got nothing to lose. We're just going to try and go forward and see what happens here. Larson still leads on the exit of turn 4 down this front straightaway. A shot to the back of the Coca-Cola machine. Chase Elliott in that number 9 as we got nowhere to go as we come through 1 and 2, though. We're going to go 4 wide to the outside. Elliott, Bell in the middle, and on the exit of 2, Elliott squeezes us into the outside wall, completely doors us there, and I'm not very impressed about that one, but Denny Hamlin to the lead of the race.
Do not wreck the 9 or cause a caution here. The 11 is leading.
You hear the demands from James Small. I got back to the 9 and certainly letting him know that I did not appreciate what happened there just a lap prior, but we move on with our day. Hamlin is leading. We do not want to cause a caution here, as we, of course, are no longer even in the free pass position, and Hamlin, however, unfortunately loses the lead pretty quick. Chris Buescher to the point, and Ty Gibbs was following as well. It was Gibbs into second, Buescher leading the race, looking for his second win on the season. The free pass position is right there. The 27 Andretti Global car, 35th place of Sammy Smith. The recent free pass went to Chastain. He's behind me right now. Of course, Chastain looking like one of the favorites to win, and unfortunately, again, that second win of the season will have to wait. We pass a 27 into a free pass spot. We go now to the back of John Hunter Nemechek. It's just, at this point, just trying to move our way forward as far as we can, hoping for a caution. Doesn't look like the caution is coming. It says like lap 67. Of course, we're on 68 because of the one lap down. So we're coming to the final 2 laps of this race here as we go 3 wide down this backstretch. How about Rajat Caruth having a very solid effort here in that Andretti Global car here today, and what I think is about his 5th or 6th Cup race now under his belt. But Chris Buescher in control as we approach the final lap of this race. The caution that we needed did not come. White flag is in the air, and Chris Buescher leads the way. We clear Justin Haley for not position, just bringing it home at this point, and pitting that 1 lap early really was obviously the wrong call, and it screwed us again here. But Buescher leads the way down the back straightaway in what was a frustrating day for us in this 19 team. Gibbs to the inside. Hold on, Ty Gibbs maybe gonna steal another one through 3 and 4. Blaney, Reddick, Hamlin behind, but Ty Gibbs is gonna do it. Ty Gibbs steals the win on the final lap 2 weeks in a row. Ty Gibbs, win number 4 on the season, and now we come home P35. What a day for Gibbs, and he is suddenly propelling himself into NASCAR Supercar status. 6 wins to his name in his Cup Series career now, and they've all come within the final 10 races of last season, and of course all the races combined this season, as you see the finishing order on your screen. Hamlin in the top 10, arguably his best overall day of the season. Is this a sign of things to come? Have they figured things out? Maybe, maybe not. We'll kind of have to wait and see. And of course, the big name towards the bottom, out of the race again, Kyle Busch, and that's going to have an effect on the playoff grid. He is now out by 15 points of the playoffs. Bubba Wallace and Hamlin both in the playoffs after Busch's continuous mechanical issues. It looked like he was cruising his way in to the playoffs. No longer the case. You see Gilliland and Briscoe, they're close to the top 30. Not quite close enough right now, but it'll be interesting if they manage to get in. As next episode, the, of course, Busch Light Bracket Challenge as well is going to kick off for 5 races before the end of the regular season. That'll be an exciting thing to watch, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.